What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Alex G. I'm alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things.
Yeah,
Where do you want to begin? And this is not an ad for Beatbox either.
it's not.
But if you would like to sponsor us, definitely let us know.
Fruit punch one and that tea one was good
Drink responsibly, kids.
that I had yesterday. That was good.
Well, kids don't drink at all, but you know what I mean.
I feel like we could start with Kanye because that'll probably be our longest
Yeah.
topic.
Really?
Possibly because we have a lot of different areas to talk about. We could talk about the listening party that we attended. We could talk about the actual songs, and then we could talk about the Ozzy Osbourne and Donna Summers complaints.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be a super extensive topic, but we just kind of have different layers to it.
Go for it. Where do you want to start?
Well, first and foremost, who replied to my story? Oh, someone replied to my comment, me talking smack on Twitter about defending Kanye, speaking of Kanye. But, I mean, I guess we could start with the listening party. Because that was the first order event. We went to the listening party before the album dropped. So, if anybody who's listening, if you weren't aware, Kanye had a listening party for his album. He had one in Chicago, and then he announced that he was having one in New York. And I was like, perfect, right? Like, it's New York. Like, we gotta go. Like, that's crazy, right? He could have been anywhere else. I wonder why he picked New York. Maybe because New York Fashion Week and there's people in the area already.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I was wondering why else he would have picked New York. Because, New York is obviously one of the biggest cities in the world, right? But I just feel like lately he hasn't really been doing a lot of stuff here, right? Like, even the Donda showings, like, nothing was in New York. It was in Atlanta. He was just in Orlando with Travis. He did Chicago, his birthplace, of course. LA usually has a lot of stuff. LA had the Larry Hoover show. I feel like New York hasn't really gotten a lot from him in a while, honestly. Like, realistically, has he really even been performing here since the Life of Pablo tour?
He hasn't really been performing anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like we haven't had any type of, I feel like, major events from him since then. So I was like happy to see New York, UBS Arena. So for anybody who's not familiar with New York, like I wasn't even familiar with the UBS Arena. It's in Long Island. It's like right on the cusp. It was basically Queens, but it was Long Island technically. So it was kind of far out. Like it wasn't a long drive for us, but like usually Madison Square Garden is like the major hub, Barclays Center. If they come to Jersey, they go to the Prudential Center. But UBS Arena, I was like, where's that? Like that's where the Islanders play. I actually never knew. Where they played. I don't know why I thought they played at Madison Square Garden, but that's the Rangers, right? But I thought they played there too. But yeah, it was a cute little arena. It was definitely like Prudential Center size, right? It's smaller. It's not a Madison Square Garden size. It's not a massive stadium.
It was cool.
But it was a good size. It was fun. A lot of people showed up. Tickets weren't crazy price. Could have been worse for the people that were there, right? It's Kanye. But yeah, it was cool vibes. I had a good time. Like, if anybody knows, New York crowds are usually historically known to be boring because everybody thinks they're too cool. But I think some people around us were having fun. Like, the people behind us were kind of like chilling. But it was lit. It was fun. Cardi came, right?
Yeah.
Bump J was there. Rich the Kid was there, which I didn't realize. And it was cool because like the last time we saw Cardi was 2017. Last time we saw Travis was 2017. Last time we saw Kanye was 2016. And now we just saw all three of them in the span of the last 2 months. We went to Travis, the store, and now we saw Kanye and Cardi again. So it's just kind of cool, full circle. Like we're seeing these artists who clearly have shown longevity in the game, so. And I would say it's our, more favorite artists, the artists that we actually care about. It's cool to support them multiple times and see them multiple times. So I hope he has a concert or a tour for Vultures. We'll definitely be going. But I know you said it's debatable because you feel like you basically went to a concert for it, which I could feel that.
Yeah.
But
and
I'd rather see I low-key rather see Kanye by himself. Like I'd rather see him doing a tour. I don't like this is a joint album. But I mean Ty Dolla Sign's cool too, but I definitely want to see Kanye and tour one more time.
My only thing with Kanye is that he's just
inconsistent.
He's not really. He does a lot of really good tour. He used to be a really good performer.
And we missed out when he was a good performer. We didn't get to go to the Yeezus tour or the Glow in the Dark tour, which I heard were like crazy, and we didn't get to see because we were young.
Yeah, high school but it's kind of tough to. I mean, it's not like money's an issue, but money's money. So paying money to like potentially have him not fully perform
Yeah.
songs, like
Like you see, people were disappointed for Life of
forgetting
Pablo.
lyrics.
Like Amira and her ex were supposed to go to Life of Pablo tour, like in Philly or something, and clearly the tour was canceled before he even
Yeah,
got
that
to
was
that.
different though. I mean, more so just like even when the show that we actually ended up going to in terms of actually performing some of the songs, like it's not like he fully like is actually performing the
Yeah, he
songs
kind of
sometimes.
stands there and lets the crowd sing it.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And I don't know if it's maybe his mental health or if it's just him getting older and just kind of getting more comfortable because like he's already secured his spot, you know. He definitely has gotten very lax and like like you said, it is your hard earned money and like, do you really want to pay that to watch him? Like first of all, you can't even see his face; he's wearing a mask, and then he's just not really singing, not really rapping. I mean, it sounds like though when he went to Travis the show, it sounds like when he first got on the stage, he was rapping and then he stopped, he put the mic down. I think he was really just trying to like grasp the moment. That was like really one of his first times really, really like performing in a while. And I think it was almost like he was like taking it all in because so much he has gotten so much hate recently, right? Like being canceled, and so I feel like that was a moment of him like, wow, like people still mess with me. And then he started rapping. Like remember he picked up the mic, he actually was like rapping, and he actually was rapping some of his songs. Remember he was up on the little moving stage and he jumped off. So
yeah.
it seemed like maybe he's getting inspired again, but I mean Kanye is kind of very volatile, and like I worry that I mean you'll get a refund, but
No,
but if he shows up
but even
and
that,
performs, mid, then we don't get a refund. We only get a refund if he doesn't show up at all.
and aside from that, like I know he didn't perform the songs at this listening event, but I almost feel like if we go to the actual tour, it will kind of be more of the same. I feel like.
Yeah, but with tours, you definitely get more music. I mean, if they performed every single song on this album, it would be this plus like maybe a few other stuff that they've done together, right? Like there's the other Ty Dolla Signs and Kanye music. So they probably perform that. People who don't just tour. Like when they tour their albums, their newer albums, they don't just tour those songs. Like you saw Travis, right? Like it was almost half and half, old and new. So it would be interesting to see like what the set list would be. I feel like this would be one of those things where I wouldn't necessarily jump out the window and buy the tickets when they drop. I will kind of wait to see what the set list is.
Yeah, I don't
But
think I'm.
then prices kind of go up though when you
I
do
don't, I
that.
don't think I'm going. But
We'll see. We'll see.
in terms of the show,
We kind of felt. I feel like we've been getting in our concert bag more lately. Like we've kind of fell away from it, and now we got like we're fully back in it.
in terms of the show specifically, for anybody that wants to see, I did record it on my own individual channel. You can go check it out there for the actual visuals. But it was cool. He came out late. He came out at like 10:40, and I think it was supposed to start at like 9. So it was
Like an
definitely
hour and a half.
yeah, definitely a big delay. But obviously when you came out, the energy was great. And New York is a little tough because the crowds in New York are like very reserved, like you were saying before. So it's not quite like the Travis show that we had in Jersey. And I know it's not. It's like we're only divided by the river, but
Yeah.
it does seem a little different.
And even the artists say that.
Yeah,
Like Travis say he loves Jersey energy.
yeah.
Like he's like he likes our energy.
Not to hate on New York, but like being in a building, you can tell New York is like I think more hype about sports than musical performances. But at the same time, I think it depends too, because like when we went to Terminal 5 with Travis, and people are diving off of the third story
Yeah.
balconies, it was a little different. But I think that's a different type of crowd. Like I think if you went to a Cardi show in New York, it probably would be different. But Kanye probably has older fans, so that has something to do with it too. But the show was good. Visually, obviously, is always going to be trend setting.
Yeah, the
Maybe not even
smoke
trend
and
setting because people can't even really replicate it. But
yeah,
the
smoke
visuals,
and like the having the one,
yeah,
and you could see the Vultures logo like in the lights, like it was cool.
yeah. To explain that a little bit further, they put a lot of smoke in the arena, so then when they were using projectors, they could project the images onto the smoke in the arena, so they didn't have any actual screens. So people, when they were filming people in the crowd, and they could see themselves like in a hologram, so it was cool. But in terms of the album, really couldn't be happier. I would say. I think, and again, keep in mind this is considered the
Volume 1.
Vultures 1
Yeah.
is what they're calling it.
So a lot of stuff that I left off, what we thought we were getting. Hopefully we
Yeah.
get from Volume 2, and then Volume 3 apparently is a solo album. So
Yeah. So we'll see. But really like and enjoy the album. It, in typical Kanye fashion, when he drops his cohesive sort of albums, there's a lot of different styles of music all throughout the album. Of course, you're gonna get like the hard, like crazy trap 808 sort of like song that we got with Carnival, which is just absolutely ridiculous. That song
Yeah.
is gonna be in my nightmares and my
That's
dreams.
definitely gonna be one of the songs from this album that's gonna be like on TikTok. Like you can tell that's gonna be one that's gonna be out of here. Especially now that Kai just like reviewed it.
Yeah, a bunch of people.
And it's Cardi's on it, and this nigga's rapping like rapping. We haven't gotten Cardi bars like this really in a while.
Yeah, that song is getting abused. I probably listened to it at least like while you were gone.
Ooh, that's gonna hit in the gym.
Oh my god.
That's making me excited to go to the
when
gym.
I'm in the subway and going on my way to work, I might just start punching pedestrians just because like that song is tough. He was actually
Sorry.
really rapping in the album too,
Yeah,
which was great.
that was that one song, Problematic.
Problematic
That's
is
like
super
those
hard.
Carnival and Problematic are my top two right now.
The songs that I like
Like
the most,
I love when he just raps.
the songs I like the most are "Do It,"
Yeah, do it too.
"Paperwork,"
Paperwork. I kind of like Hood Rat a little bit.
"F Something." I like Hood Rat too.
It's growing on me. F something is good.
"Carnival," "Beg Forgiveness," and "Problematic" are mine. That
top three right
my
now.
top six. So those are the ones that I'm going back to consistently so
Yeah,
far.
what's the other Paperwork? I like Paperwork with that Rugrats beat.
Yeah,
But I was listening to it in the car when I was like driving to go get my food earlier.
I'm
I
gonna
was
drop
like,
I'm gonna
I'm
drive
like, oh,
off
this
this
hit
bridge.
I haven't heard a lot of stuff in the car yet until like I've been out.
Yeah.
But then I was finally getting to listen to it while I was out today, and I was like,
Yeah. So the album's
it goes
really
crazy.
good,
Like yeah, it's like no bad songs. In my
and
opinion.
not even because I don't say I'm a fan of anybody, but I do enjoy. There's people's music that I enjoy the most. So he's one of them, and I think definitely gonna be up there for album of the year.
Yeah.
Conversations as always. But
And I feel like he's like improving a little bit, right? Like I feel like when he was the Ye era was a little iffy for me. Like I think it was good music back then, but you could
A little
tell it
experimental.
wasn't. Yeah, it was experimental. And I feel like Ye wasn't really fully what it could have been because like songs like Violent Crimes like is really good. So it's like I just figured there was a lot of iffiness during that time, and then he went through his Jesus is King era, and then I mean Kids See Ghost was good, right too. But then I feel like he's definitely improving now because sometimes I do get worried. 'Cause I feel like sometimes he's a little he definitely declining in some ways a little bit, right? It's like we can't ignore the fact that like his mental health definitely has been rocky, and I feel like it's reflected in some of his music. But then I feel like Donda, we've obviously got really good music. I wish Donda 2 was actually finished and done, and cause I feel like that could have been a really good album too, but it never actually officially dropped.
yeah,
And then I feel like now we got this and it's good. I feel like Ty Dolla $ign helped him really. Because like sometimes you need creatively, like you need that help, and I feel like you need that structure. Like I feel like Kanye is kind of like off the rails, so it's throwaway album, but you don't want to disappoint so many other people. And I feel like he really was like Ty Dolla $ign kept pushing like, please let's just drop this album. Come on, like let's just get it out here.
and it came out exceeded my expectations. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like not that I because I really like Vultures a lot, the song, but it was kind of hard to tell what direction the album was gonna go
'Cause
in.
that song does not give any inclination onto the album at all. Like
Yeah.
it's different than every song on the album is pretty different.
It's really
but-
different. Yeah.
And Vultures grew on me too. I didn't really like it at first, but it's a good song.
No, I liked it a lot because
At
that
first,
beat
yeah.
drop.
Yeah, the beat drop. Yeah. And I like Little Dirk's verse. Yeah, we did like it at first because I actually recorded me listening to it for the first time. We was in New York.
Yeah, we was driving by MSG. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the album's really good. I enjoyed it. Hopefully everybody else is enjoying it too. Again, Carnival
Yeah,
is a
Carnival's
generational
just-
type beat,
That song just
generational
goes
type
too
song.
good.
It's like
it just like I just like dark music.
it makes
Like,
you
I like
mad.
that.
Like
I just like it just makes me want. Like I said, it's gonna be good in the gym. It's
nah,
just
but
gonna
it
make
makes
you
you mad
want.
because like why are people good at what they do?
Yeah.
Like why do people make good music? It make me mad sometimes.
The beat is just like it just makes you
Generational
want to
type beat.
like.
And what's crazy about that beat too is that out of all of the Kanye leaks or like work in progress songs that we've ever heard, that has to be the biggest glow up to a song that he's ever previewed ever. Usually I feel like when he previews a song or it leaks or something, it ends up becoming worse.
Yeah.
But that one, I couldn't have even foreseen what that sounded like how it ended up sounding.
Yeah.
Because I didn't listen to the original version until like yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the way that this came up is crazy because I didn't listen to like the first round of the songs because I didn't
Yeah.
want to.
Me neither. Like that's why like all these listening parties, I've heard snippets here and there, but I didn't really listen to anything until the Chicago listening party.
Yeah,
'Cause I really wanted to wait until that final work was out. Like I didn't want to listen to leaks or listen to like earlier renditions. Like I wanted to wait until the whole thing was out.
but yeah, so good album. Actually, I would argue it's a great album.
But we'll see how when it comes to awards and stuff though, because first of all he has
Who
to
cares about
submit.
them awards?
Yeah, who cares? But first of all he has to submit, right? Do you have to submit for Billboard like when they do number one?
Nah.
Oh, okay, so that's just gonna be the chart. It's just gonna chart.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you don't because Billboard
Yeah, I think it's just a
They
thing.
just track anything. Like you don't have to submit to them.
Yeah,
But for award shows,
awards
you
you have
have
to
to
submit.
submit.
But the thing is, first of all, he might be banned for submitting. But even if he did submit, they might not have him because everybody's just.
He don't need no
I
awards.
guess he doesn't need any awards, but it just sucks because like I feel like this is like good music and it's probably gonna be falling on a lot of deaf ears because everybody is so caught up in those comments, and I feel like I don't know, maybe I'll have to revisit what he said, but nothing he said to me was that crazy. Like maybe the one thing about the Hitler thing was only iffy comment. But other than that, like he was just pointing out stuff that so many other people have said. Like it's not anti-Semitic to say that your people are in control. Like if anything, that's a compliment to you and your people for coming together and running shit.
It's not just that, and the reason why I'm not gonna, like, you can't tell somebody how they should feel or how they should be offended by somebody else's comments.
Yeah.
Like if somebody from another race came and touched my hair and said, "Oh, you have nappy hair," that's gonna be taken differently, right? So I'm gonna feel offended by that.
Yeah.
So they can't be like, "Oh, well, it's describing your hair," like, you know what
I
I mean?
just feel like their
Now,
group
wait,
is so
hold up,
protected
hold
compared
up.
to every other group.
Which is true, but that
Like,
doesn't.
people talk about us all the time and
But that
nobody
d-
gets canceled.
But that doesn't invalidate
It doesn't.
the
but
stuff
it's just,
that he was saying.
It's just annoying.
So I understand, because the way I think about it is like, if somebody said the equivalent of that to a group that I belong to, how would I feel? So if somebody said
I'll be like, yeah, we run shit.
if it's DEF CON to all blacks,
Yeah, that was wild, a little wild. But the thing is, people took that out of context because they didn't know what Death Con meant. Like
it's DEF CON, but
DEF CON, yeah, it's like a military thing. But it was people tried to make it seem like he was basically saying death to the Jews. That's not what he was saying. That's not what DEF CON means. But
even
it does sound
even
crazy.
the actual version of DEF CON,
The actual definition of it.
it's kind of like that's a war term.
Yes, like but you're preparing for war almost. It's not like he literally was saying. Like I think he was basically saying like I'm preparing to, because they're coming for me. They're gonna start coming.
Well, which DEF CON did he say? Do you know what number?
3.
Okay, well, let's
Yeah,
get
it's
up
not
there.
the final stage of like.
Nah, it's DEF CON 5.
Yeah, it's like preparing for you're on the defense. I think it's almost like he was on the defense because he knew what was coming. Like he just has a very expressive way about saying things, and people just like I get it, but people also love to just be mad. People love to be offended. People love to dig. So people want to be a victim, right? I feel like I don't know what it is. Like everybody wants to be a victim. So black people, we have our plights who are directly linked to slavery and everything, but then and Jewish people have their plight right with the Holocaust, but everybody just wants to be like, woe is me. What did he mean by DEF CON? Like, whoa, like everybody just wants to be a victim, and it's just like
They do, but come on, like, don't do that. Because if somebody said the exact same thing about
DEF
black
CON
people
3 to black
to black people, like, imagine if literally anybody said that. Like, what if you're the most?
You're right.
What's the equivalent of a Kanye to white people or Jewish people? Like, if Taylor Swift said it's DEF CON to all
Yeah.
black people, you'd be
Yo,
in
she'll
here.
be out of here.
Well, she
Well, maybe she wouldn't because she's protected because she's white. That's what I mean too. Black people we don't get as many chances.
yeah, but that you still can't invalidate.
I know, but I'm not invalidating it, but I just feel like it's just a shame. Like I kind of wish he just would have went about it better. Like I know what he was trying to do, and it sucks because it's almost like the same thing with the Monique interview that she just did on Club Shay Shay. It sucks because it's like you should be able to speak the truth. You should be able to speak out on things and not fear consequences. And I respect him that he's just doing him, but it sucks because at the same time it's like these things taint your legacy, and it's like I know what he was trying to say, but it just came out very just bad.
It's the same thing I said about Nicki and how nobody really received her diss track the way that she probably thought that they would.
Yeah, because
you don't get
yeah.
you only get what you've allowed yourself to receive. So like if you made your whole career a certain way and people perceive you, if you're going on stage and like if you're saying certain things, certain people don't care about black people, which was, you can have your own opinions on that, but the way other people might perceive that, or like, the way they view it, him ripping the mic from Taylor and like, all the different things and the way he set up his career and perception, you don't afford yourself that same grace when these kind of conversations come up.
Because he kind of already dug himself a hole. Like he already kind of showed who he was to people, how they perceive him being a bad person for so long.
And the Trump stuff, and it's just all this.
The slavery was a choice, even though that was like way far misinterpreted. Like because every day he proves a statement because you see how our people are sheep, so he proves that statement is proven to be true. but everybody wanted to be very offended by that too. But I just feel like I get it though. Like at the end of the day, we are humans and we should all be able to say and do what we want. Like who cares about the rules? But it just sucks because they do come with consequences. But he's fine. Like look at how stadium was packed out. Like people could say what they want about him every day and they could keep coming for him. But the fans are still here. Like he's had his biggest streaming year ever last year. Like no, they're not stopping him. And I just don't want him to do anything that's too far gone where he can't come back from it. But I feel like he's fine right now. Donna Summers, Ozzy Osbourne, I don't care if they're legends. Like F their samples. Like I know they saying, oh, they want that power trip. Like no, we denied him to use our sample. But F it, just, do your own thing, Kanye. Like your fans are still gonna support you. Like let them lose out on money because this album's gonna go crazy. Like so that's the point I am with him. Like I don't even really care that people don't really like him. Like I'm still gonna listen to the music. Like the streams don't lie, the sales are not gonna lie. So I just want him to not say nothing else going forward. Like don't say this.
Well, he did say that he's an anti-Semite again on the album.
Oh, yeah, he did.
So
well, no, but he wasn't saying that he was. He was kind of just mocking what people say about him, like
Yeah.
bipolar, anti-Semite. But I'm still the king. Like it's almost like he was just mocking. But yeah, I mean, he did.
Yeah. And then they hit that button on the live stream in Chicago. The second he said that,
Nah, the funny part is though
they hit that switch.
that song is dead. That's the last song on the album. So the
he
show
closed
probably
out.
was done.
Yeah.
But it's just the timing was funny because like the way the stream cut off, I was like,
And that's the way that people were
I'm not
reporting
gonna
it.
say who, what race, what group of people turned off the show.
That button got hit and they got out of there. But yeah.
Yeah, recreate that Kanye interview. I'm not gonna say who. It was the Jewish people. They did it. Oh, I'm gonna cancel it. Stop. You see, you can't even call them by their name without it being like anti-Semitic. So it was anti-Semitic that they own all these news channels.
I'm like,
It's
stop.
a fact. It's a fact.
No,
though.
but stop.
No, I'm just saying that.
Because
Right now.
I know
I'm
you're.
not talking about Kanye.
I know
I'm
you.
just
No.
saying
I'm saying I know you're intelligent, but and you're a fan of Kanye. But sometimes, like, think
No.
about what you're saying. It is anti-Semitic to say that you're gonna go DEFCON and
Oh
declare
no,
war
no,
on people.
no. That stuff is wild. I'm just talking about the other stuff, but the more lighthearted stuff that people try to say is anti-Semitic, like that they own the news channels. Like, no, that's a fact. Like, wouldn't she be flexing on that? Like, yeah, we own you guys. Yeah, we run this. Like, that's a compliment that you guys were able to come together. Because my people can't get it together. I wish that we could, right? Because we rule the world. Because we run stuff culturally. Well, Black Americans, not all Black people, but it's a compliment. All that other stuff, yeah, borderline anti-Semitic. But I'm talking about the specific, like with the news channels, CNN and all that other stuff, and the record labels. Even that show we just watching, Selling Sunset, the Oppenheim group. Is Oppenheim Jewish? Aren't they Jewish? But anyway, so I mean, like I said, Ozzy Osbourne, Donna Summers, we don't need you guys. Like miss out on the money. Like who cares?
Those are two.
Well,
people
no,
that
they're fine.
definitely
No,
don't need
they're more than fine. But it's like whatever. Like you guys want, like I don't get why Donna Summers or whoever's running her page was adding Sharon Osbourne. Like they were trying to like, yeah, look Sharon, he's trying to steal my music too. Like it's just whack to me. I don't know. It's like this whole like we're trying to be like everybody loves to act like they're so like holier than thou, but Ozzy Osbourne has some like very questionable history. So I'm like, you're the last person that we want to talk about morals. Then he tried to kill his wife. Like I heard he tried to kill Sharon.
All right, let's move on.
Let's look it up. Cause I heard that he did, and he apparently is like a Satanist. Like, but now this nigga all of a sudden anti-Semitism is his bar. Even though he just dressed up as Kanye 2-3 months ago for Halloween, but all of a sudden now he draws a line at anti-Semitism, but he's a Satanist who tried to kill his wife.
Well, let's turn on that good Black Sabbath.
Yeah, this is the guy that we're looking for morals.
This that work right here.
And Carnival is fine without it, right? We don't need it. The new version that they did was fine, right? Like, so Kanye's funny to me. Like, people are like, oh, he's stealing music. You guys are supporting this? Somebody on Instagram said, are we protesting him, like, stealing people's music? And I replied back and I said, no. And I put the red heart. No, we're not. We're not protesting nothing. So,
Yeah.
But all in all, I think I just don't want him to say nothing too, like, don't say nothing else. Like, still express your still practice, or what is it called? Exercise your freedom of speech. But just, I just want him and Nicki, like me being a fan of both of them, like those literally being like the only two artists I really like actually are a fan of. I just want them to both just use a little bit more emotional intelligence, just be more like calculative, because they could run stuff like they already do. Their music, their fan bases are insane. So it's like if they were just a little bit more smarter, they
It's
would
not
have so much of a bigger bag and so much more success. Like Nicki would definitely have her Grammys already. It's just last time, so like I get it. Like you shouldn't have to not speak and be able to express yourself, but just be smarter about how you do it. Be more tactical,
it's
right?
not, but it's not even being tactical. It's just common sense.
Yeah, it is common sense.
Like
Like you could still
if you
use freedom of speech and still be who Kanye can still be who he is without the Taylor Swift event, without the everybody loves George Bush, doesn't care about black people. We love that, but now you're doing too much when you go on a stage ripping out mics from young girls who went in their first war. Like some stuff he did was just very questionable.
yeah, and you can't whether people's actions are right or wrong and their positions of power. Again, common sense.
Yeah,
If you're shitting on somebody, why would they then give you opportunities?
yeah.
And I'm not saying
Money.
I'm not saying stay quiet, but you can't have everything be.
Yeah, you can't do can't go too crazy.
No, I just like you can't. It's not gonna be kumbaya. You can't shit on the labels, and they're like, "Oh, Nicki,
Yeah.
you know what? Never thought about it that way. Let
And then
me
you need them.
change everything.
Yeah.
Here, matter of fact, come to the Grammys. Let's give you 4 Grammys. It's not gonna work
If you're
that
gonna do
way.
all that, have yourself set up already for you. Like with the shoe stuff, have that stuff set up. Like you needed the Adidas.
Either-
Like I mean, not anymore, but he did.
You're gonna have to make a choice. Either you're gonna play the artist game and get all these accolades that you can put in your house so you can feel better about yourself, or be the martyr and be the person that gets their whole life taken away from them because they point out issues. And I by no means am trying to compare under any circumstances the individuals I'm about to bring up, but look at what it cost Malcolm. Look at what it cost Dr. King. Look at what it cost millions of black people that have tried to stand up for what's right. Those were the martyrs. They weren't being tactical. They weren't trying to be accepted, and
Yeah, you can't want both. So you can't want the Grammy and
just
submitting
can't.
for the Grammy still.
It can't work that way.
Like Kanye, you peed on the Grammy, but then you submitted for the Grammy, and you won it.
And you won one, but
it.
it's just like
But
that
it's
part
like,
doesn't make sense.
It's,
to me.
yeah, it's weird because like why you're submitting Nicki, you're submitting Grammys, but but you're talking like about the Grammys.
I get you want fair and equal treatment,
Yeah,
but
and I feel like it's just their anger and passion that
it's just
takes
the same
over.
the same thing I always disagreed with the Kaepernick trying to go back into the NFL thing.
Yeah,
It just didn't
that
make
was
sense.
so stupid.
Why would you
like
want to
you
go
did
back?
all that, yeah.
And that's why
Jay-Z is a little questionable, right? Like you supporting and you like standing 10 toes. Like how crazy does it look now as black people? We got all these black artists now performing at halftime shows because of Jay-Z, but what happened to the take a knee? Like like it was just it's very
it's a whole other conversation.
yeah.
But anyway, the album was great. Good job, Kanye. I'm happy about it.
Yes.
Definitely the best set of music we got from him, in my opinion, since like 2016.
I'm gonna
So
listen to it again tomorrow on my way to my
It's
mom's
fantastic.
apartment because she lives an hour and a half, so that's perfect time.
yeah.
10 out of 10.
In other entertainment news, one thing I've noticed recently is that we'll just say specifically. So Joe Budden has had a couple instances where he's brought up this whole like it almost seems like he has like a hatred towards young people. And
Do you think it is?
I think it actually is, because there's been too many instances of like him bringing up the youth and the things that they do, and it's always negative. Like it's almost like there's never, you know what, let me not say that, because I feel like I'm gonna say that and then there's gonna be some instances where he gives people props, because
He probably has.
it's just like, I don't know, it just seems like,
I mean, he kind of gets props even in his negativity. That makes sense. Like, 'cause I know you're probably gonna bring up the Travis Scott stuff.
and also
But
additional stuff.
It's like he was basically calling Travis and Cardi bozos for like what they did at the Grammys, but he was saying like in the same breath though he's still complimenting that they run shit, but that just wasn't a place to perform it, that song. So it's like he's still complimenting like that they could have these huge crowds in Coachella, but we don't need to hear Fiend at the Grammys.
Yeah, but why?
But I still do agree that it's mostly very negatively driven the topics. Like it's very, he goes in.
Why can't we hear Fiend at the Grammys?
Exactly. Like who cares that the people are in suits? That's why I do kind of hate when older people do push antiquated like ideas. It's funny because they don't even realize that they're becoming that. Like they're becoming literally the older people that they probably like hated when they were younger.
Yeah.
Because like I even like people always talk about that like like people would be like, oh, like why is this person doing this here, or why are you wearing that there? Like, what happened to decorum? And while I understand all that, at the same time, it's like we're like, why are we following man-made like ideas?
So because people are in suits.
Yeah, you can't listen to Fiend.
What's funny about that too is that Kanye actually had a bar. I forget which album it's on. It's either Late Registration or College Dropout. But he was saying, he said y'all wear suits because y'all don't know how to dress no more, because he's talking about the executives, the music
Yeah, because
executives.
they're older, so that's
But then in Dark Twisted Fantasy era, he had everybody show up to the studio in suits. And so it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of one of those things. It's like when you're young, it's just like the young rebellious. You're young and rebellious when you're young, and then when you get older, you hate the youth. And low key,
and you only hate it because you're not cool enough to be in it anymore. In my opinion, which is a lot of people.
which is kind of what I wanted to like discuss a little bit, because
I always love the youth, no matter like what. I just think it's cool. They don't bother me.
I kind of feel like there is some sort of so we have hip hop culture, black culture as like a whole thing. So let's just say black culture, black American culture is the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that we have, music, TV, arts, fashion, just societal things. And for me, I feel like there's different, even that gets drilled down derivatively amongst different categories too. So like when you talk about fashion, New York basically is fashion for the world, really realistically. But New York fashion is a lot different than something like California fashion. And it's not like super different, but it is a little bit different to some extent, because California has just different weather. So they just, year round they have a certain style of dress. Like you could tell somebody is from California versus from New York.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So for me, low key, I don't think that he's necessarily like a hater, but I do think that people should be accepting of a culture that they're not technically actually a part of. So to be specific about that is that the streamers are a part of a specific culture within society. And what I've seen from people on the internet is that literally it's always a comment. What is this? What does he even do? Why is he famous? Why is he important? What's his talent? Right.
Yeah.
So number one, first and foremost, not everybody is gonna be Oppenheimer and be some like crazy scientist and have some amazing talent, or they can sing, or they can juggle. Like that's not like the average person.
Yeah.
Because the people that leave those comments, typically I'm like, well, what is your talent?
Yeah,
What are
what do
your
you
talent?
do?
What do you expect
Yeah.
people to be doing?
Because people expect so much of others that they don't even expect from themselves.
Right. So that's the one thing. Why are these streamers so because they're entertaining, right? Their talent could literally just be that they're funny. Like that's his talent, is that he can make people laugh, and he can bring hundreds of thousands of people into a stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like,
it's working, clearly.
And it's working. He just got a Nike deal too. So shout out to Kai for securing that. He's just played in the celebrity football game, either I think it was today or it was yesterday. With the NFL, so again, flown out to Vegas.
I'm sure he's out there for Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, that's where the celebrity game was at. So clearly it's working. Clearly people are tuned in, but
and he's not really doing anything harmful.
He literally hasn't done
like
anything.
That event that he planned. Yeah, that was a little.
The jail one.
The event that he planned where the people pulled up.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like he had ill intent, and I'm sure it was a learning lesson. But it's not like anything that he's doing is that crazy. Like he's just reacting to stuff, screaming, laughing, hanging out with his friends.
And people be so mad about it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
That's what I mean. Like that's a whole different culture. Like number one, it's for the youth. It's for people in a certain age range. So it's not for you.
You're not the target audience.
You're not the target audience. So people, because that happens all the time. Like with fashion, it's like, what is this? Like, it's like, well, you're not the target audience.
I hate when people have like their 2 cents. Like it's like regular. Like people always do it with Balenciaga. Like I'm sorry, Balenciaga didn't make this with you in mind. They didn't. Like regular everyday people, we're not the target audience. The people who could afford it easily are the target audience.
Yeah.
Some people always want to have their 2 cents. Like, oh, Balenciaga thinks they think they're funny. They trying to scam. Like they playing you guys. I'm like, playing who? You're not the target audience. The people that could afford it, this $2,000 ripped up shirt that looks like it's from Walmart is worth like $1 to them. The people who are the target audience, $2,000 is nothing for them. So who's getting scammed? That money is nothing to the people who could afford it. You're not the target audience. So why do you feel the need to say they're scamming you? Balenciaga is not thinking about you.
And also,
Like what?
and also, it's a regional thing as well. Like Balenciaga's target audience isn't gonna be people from certain areas either,
Yeah.
right? So like
You
people
like-
in Texas have money. Some people in
Yeah.
Texas have more money than
Those mega
whole
mansion
sections,
people? Yeah.
whole sections of the country, oil money, all types of stuff down in Texas.
Yeah.
Balenciaga's not making clothes for people in Texas.
Yeah.
The heat just won't allow it. Like
Yeah.
they're wearing, like they're making leather goods.
Like
Like
city
they're not.
people.
Yeah,
New York,
where it gets
London,
cold.
Paris,
like, yeah, like the
Antwerp,
like-
Belgium, like over there. You know.
the fashion hubs.
Yeah.
So like that's a culture that you're not actually a part of. You might
Yeah.
enjoy clothes and putting on certain clothes, but you're not a part of that specific
Yeah.
subsection. And so what I've
And
seen,
then with even the money, like
yeah, even the money too.
Balenciaga's not targeting Shaquanda from Jackson, Mississippi.
No need to put
I'm
race.
sorry.
No need to put racism
No,
into it.
because it's always the people in the shade room that like are talking.
That's true.
Like Shaquanda from Jackson, Mississippi, you are not the target audience for the $5,000 Levi's with paint on them from Gallery Department. You're not. So you don't have to worry about them scamming you because they're not worried about you.
Yeah. So
But
that's
anyway.
that's one thing. I think there's a big disconnect with society. I think because people belong to an overall umbrella group
Mm-hmm.
of something, like people enjoy hip hop, so hip hop's a big umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So then they'll comment on like 90s boom bap rappers will comment on like Atlanta rappers.
Yeah.
But like that's not the target audience first and foremost.
Yeah.
And also you're part of a different culture. You're part of 90s culture.
Yeah.
And it would be the same inverse. So like the older kids can't comment about what happened in the 90s either because
Yeah.
they're not a part of that culture. So it does work both ways.
Yeah.
Because I
And there should
saw
just be a mutual respect on both sides.
right,
Like,
and that doesn't happen sometimes. So the youth does have that youthful arrogance too. So it's not
They
just
do.
that there's the old haters, but like both sides need to just have a common respect because
that's why when we had the conversation about the millennial versus Gen Z with the looks, it's like the argument on both sides is weird.
It
Like,
is.
because the
What are we
youth, like,
arguing
why are you
about?
disrespecting the older people? Because you're gonna become that age one day, and the older people, why are you guys disrespecting the youth? Like,
arguing kids.
you're being weirdos.
Yeah.
Like, go raise a family.
And then so what happened was Kai was doing a stream. Basically, what happened with all this is Kai was doing a stream, and he's a part of the youth, extremely disappointed about the Travis snub, which it is a snub. Like, I'm sorry,
It is.
it is.
And it happened twice.
And Killer Mike is great, and he's done a lot in hip hop. Obviously, he doesn't have commercial success, but that's because the type of content he makes typically isn't going to get commercial success. Like, it just is not. Kendrick is kind of one of those people that's been able. Kendrick and J. Cole are kind of the people that have been able to break out of that and to like
Yeah.
have huge commercial success with the type of content they talk. Like, Killer Mike is trying to uplift the community and all that other stuff.
That's probably why you
Unfortunately,
want it.
people aren't entertained by that. People don't want to hear, basically, like, and that's not all he does. So I definitely don't want to make that sound like that's all he does. Like, he's very versatile. Like, he's very good at making music. He's good at what he does. Like, he's been doing this for years. So, and I'm well aware. I'm not Kai. I'm not one of the younger people that might not necessarily know. But Travis did get snubbed. Sorry, it's just a fact. It's not even a debate. So Kai was obviously upset about that. Gave his comment saying like, "Who even is Killer Mike?" So yeah, youthful arrogance
Yeah,
there,
he didn't have to
ignorance.
say that.
He doesn't know who he is. Obviously, he won a Grammy. He was nominated for a reason. So clearly, he's
Yeah.
somebody anyway. But
Yeah. So Kai was wrong for saying
right.
that. Yeah.
But on the inverse of that, there seems to be like on Joe's side, the attacking of the streamers are just youthful people, right? So like
Yeah.
like Travis, Cardi, and then he keeps bringing up Kai.
Yeah. He's so mad about Kai.
Yeah,
Because he probably sees like because that's low key like Kai is kind of like the new age of like podcasting in a way, you know, like the same way we
It
enjoy
is.
podcasts, it's the same way these kids enjoy just watching streams. So it's like,
streamers are way more popular than podcasts at
and I
this
know
point.
Joe's like sitting there like, damn, like, cause you know he was the top of the game with this podcast and stuff in the Black community for a minute, right? And then stuff kind
Mm-hmm.
of fell apart. So I know he's like, damn, like look how this kid's able just to garner all these views and get all this success, and you know I have this whole professional setup, and I'm not reaching the same success. So it's almost like you are hating.
Yeah,
Because like it does seem like he's like fixated on to Kai, right? Like he talks about him a lot. I always see clips, and I'm like, why is he talking about Kai again?
yeah, and I can't tell if that's like a clicks thing
Yeah,
just bringing up something. I mean, because it's
Okay,
kind
it's
of a
good.
hard
Yeah,
thing because it's
it's
like
getting
it is
views.
culture.
Yeah, it is
It
culture.
is a cultural thing, but it's just I don't know if there's anything positive, right? Like, is there gonna be like a shout out for the Nike deal? Like,
Yeah, right.
if
Like,
it's,
yeah, you're gonna talk about talk about the positive
do
things
we ever
still.
like a black person getting a Nike deal from streaming and he's 21
Yeah,
years old from the Bronx?
yeah,
You know, pretty sure Joe was born in the Bronx, if I'm not mistaken, or Queens.
yeah. Right. It's still New York, so it's like, where's the New
No, he's
York
born in
love?
Queens. I think I don't think he was born in the Bronx, but
Yeah,
still, he lived all over. But um, so yeah, it just seems to always be something negative when it comes to like a subsection of the culture
yeah,
that he doesn't necessarily belong. And it's not even to attack Joe specifically, but this is just overall. People do this all the time,
yeah.
like with everything. Like, for example, like if women do makeup and there's a specific type of thing, like let's just say the trend is to have lashes that just look like bats, just like massive lashes.
The 25 millimeter era.
Nah, not I'm talking like bigger than that.
No, those are the big
Like it
ones.
looked like a parrot is on your eyes. Like if that's just a thing, and there's a specific subsection of the makeup community that does that, anybody that's not in that subsection shouldn't be like it's not. It doesn't concern you.
Yeah, people
It's like
always
the
want
people
to,
that don't wear makeup that want to
yeah,
just
judge makeup
tell
people.
everybody in the world that they don't wear makeup or that they don't do it. Like it's like
It's like, who are you trying to prove it
belong to your
to?
community
Yeah,
and just be in your
that's the
community.
thing. I feel like people be telling themselves like, you're not truly confident or prideful in what you are doing if what others are doing bothers you. Because if you truly are happy to be a no makeup girly, then you don't have to keep saying it. Like, it's like you're trying to prove, who you're trying to prove to. You're trying to prove to yourself that you love being a no makeup girly. Like, why? Like, oh, I don't need to wear makeup.
Yeah.
Okay, like, then just live in that and be comfortable with that. But why you had to announce that? It's almost like because you're not confident in it. Like, you are bothered in a way about people who wear makeup. Because if you weren't, then you wouldn't have to say anything about it.
Now
I know plenty of girls that don't wear makeup that don't even mention. They don't make that a personality trait. Like, that's just who they are,
let me ask you
and
this.
that's what I respect.
He also made some comments recently about Aiden Ross too. He said,
Joe?
"Yeah." He said, "Who the fuck is Aiden Ross to tell me about anything that goes on in the culture?"
Well, I
Now,
agree with that. Because I don't think anybody who's not in the culture should speak on the culture.
what
And that
do
goes for even black people who are not in the culture.
got you? So,
Because you wasn't there. And you have no roots to it. It's not in
oh,
your
this
it's
is
not
such
in
a
your blood. It's not in your blood.
got you.
So
So,
I agree with that. Okay, Aiden, who is Aiden to speak on anything? Like, Joe was there. Like, Joe was one of the biggest, like, he was there during a lot of the changes that happened in the hip hop community. Like,
no,
he was there through a lot of errors.
no. So Aiden didn't say anything specifically. Joe just threw his name out there. Like he wasn't saying
Oh,
that
okay. So
Aiden.
he was just speaking like kind of high level, like, who, like, I
Yeah,
don't want to hear anything about anything from him.
yeah,
Because why is he telling me about hip hop or anything in the black community?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
That's why, like, for me, like, I like Kai. Like, I don't watch these streamers, right? But I've never really liked Aiden. He doesn't bother me, like, personally. But I mean, does Aiden speak anything about? Well, he does, right? Because he had 21 Savage, right? He has a lot of black artists,
He
so he does kind of like lean in towards the black community.
he does, but he definitely doesn't make any comments about like specific things. Like he doesn't give like commentary like, oh, like this is what's going on in the community and these people are doing this. Like he's just kind of like he hangs out with.
He just
Well, he really
out
hangs out with everybody, but
Okay.
like he's not like he's not
not a
like
commentator.
commenting. Yeah,
Okay,
he's just
so
like
then-
he's just an entertainer.
So then I feel like Joe is just throwing his name out there. He doesn't really truly even watch his content, but he just wants to bash on Aiden.
Yeah, like he's just a part of the youth, and he like just brings in like
Just a vibe. He's
just
be
like
chilling.
rappers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or just people in general. Like
I mean, it is kind of interesting though, 'cause I always do wonder, like, but we talk about that with Bobby Altoff too. Like, why as someone who's not a part of the community, why do you lean so much into that? I know it brings views, and I know it's like the shock value, I guess, but it is kind of like a little.
well, that's definitely not all he does. That's the other part too. Like he has this
That's true.
he like it's just black culture is so impactful
Yeah.
that people tend to like
You can't escape it.
gravitate to that specifically. And I'm saying like
Yeah.
when he does streams with everybody, like he's had his people from other races, like he does everything, like all across the
Okay.
board.
Yeah,
Like I'm pretty sure he's had like Benny Blanco. Like he does everything in the world when it
Yeah.
comes to streaming. It's just that because we're so hyper fixated on black culture that the clips that get circulated around are gonna be centered around
that's
like
true.
Playboy Cardi, for example.
Yeah.
So all of the other stuff he still does too. So he's not so hyper fixated. He's just like almost like I think we've kind of had like a, and I want to use this very carefully. We've kind of had like in some degrees like a blending of cultures in a sense where like it almost feels like
Yeah.
to me where like the young kids it like broke down a lot of barriers uh with each other's cultures. I think
Yeah.
mostly people coming into the black community, but like when it comes to the dances and stuff like that, I feel like
Yeah.
they
A lot of
almost don't see race as much
yeah.
in a way where it's like just tied to TikTok basically. Where
Yeah.
like
It's like TikTok culture.
yeah, TikTok culture, but a lot of
But
that is just black
you know,
culture.
I mean, obviously, I don't agree with that. I'm very stern on my views of like gatekeeping and stuff because I feel like I'm all for like everybody like I'm fine with people like dabbling, dabbling in everybody's culture and like enjoying it. But I'm always gonna just be like, just make sure you give credit where due. That's all. Like people, you know, like I have no issues with people enjoying our culture, right? Because it is cool. Like I would be mad if I wasn't gang too, right? Like I'm like, you know, I would be like, damn, they lit like too, because like I get it. Like we're obviously cool people. My issue is when people start hijacking stuff. So don't talk about we black, like this our stuff, and you know your parents came here on a plane in the 80s. Like no, it's not we. Like yeah, we're black, we share the same skin tone, but it's my culture, and I respect your culture. Like I don't try to claim Jamaican culture. I don't try to claim Nigerian culture because that's not mine. I respect it, I love it, it's beautiful, but it's not mine. I mean, I feel like, but they do it with us because they were born here. But it's just because you were born here that doesn't mean it's your culture. So that's where I have an issue. Like fine, like I you know I love people like enjoying our culture, and I love enjoying other people's culture. Like I love trying different foods and traveling, but just respect the people that are in it and respect the separate identities.
Yeah,
But Aiden doesn't do that,
he doesn't.
so that's why
Not from what I've seen.
yeah.
A comparable person would be somebody like to me, and people might not like this, but I think Fantano would be one of those
I don't know
people
what
where
that
it's
is.
kind of tough. He has made a career off of like reviewing people's music.
He's
So
white.
yeah, and it's not like there's a very split opinion on him. For me, I don't care to listen to anybody else's opinion on music ever. So I don't particularly. It's not my type of content. Like I don't want to go. Like I would never watch. Like I used to like do music reactions, but I would never be the type of person to watch somebody's reaction to music because I don't care what anybody else's opinion on music is actually. Like I only
Yeah,
like I don't want to hear anybody else's like perspective on music except for the people that actually made it. Like I want to hear the stories about what happened if somebody made the songs themselves, but I don't care about some random YouTuber or streamer
yeah,
and what their opinions on a particular album is. I really don't care because it's all about how I feel about the album that matters to me.
yeah.
So, he has had like a real tough criticism of like a lot of rap.
Well, I'm all for the criticism because I do like I know people don't like this perspective, but I just feel like yeah, like you could become a subject matter expert, but it's not you, and it won't ever be you. So I just feel you should just not speak on it.
Yeah, it's like a real
It's a
tough
tough
thing
thing
because
though,
it's
because
like
people will
people.
say like, oh, but what makes you think I can't speak on it?
Yeah,
But I don't know, because obviously like you could be black and not be knowledgeable on the things, you
but
know.
for
But
me,
I just feel like you're not the target audience, so it's like you shouldn't really be speaking on things that you're not the target audience for.
that's
Like
where
you,
yeah.
the stuff that these people are rapping about and singing about, it's lived experiences that you'll never know what it's like. You know,
Yeah, so
like
even
we can't relate to a lot of rap
I was just about
music
to say
because
that
yeah,
I
because
can't
like
relate to like any of it
we
really.
weren't raised in like you know the hood. We weren't raised in like underprivileged class. Like we, you know, we were obviously I would say a privileged class. We were upper middle class people in 2-parent households. So like our experience is not 100% relatable to other black people, but you know we do experience the same level of like the black experience. But we fortunately haven't experienced the bad, you know, the worst sides of it when it
Yeah.
comes to like being raised. Like, you know, we was just listening to that song yesterday when he's like, you don't wake up to no gun sounds. Who said that? Dirt.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah. I was listening. I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't. Thankfully, you know, I didn't have to wake up to
My
gun sounds.
my dad.
Thankfully, but your dad did, yeah. So and you hear the stories from him. So obviously the music hits for him more, you
Yeah,
know, than
it
it would
doesn't
for
hit for
you.
me. I can never. I can appreciate it for what it is and be It's the difference between
Like enjoying the art.
being, God, why am I forgetting the name? Being an empath and being sympathetic to those scenarios. So like I'm an empath where it's like I've been with people close enough, my friends and growing up and stuff like that, they grew up in those kind of conditions. So I'm an empath in that sense where it's like I haven't experienced it personally, but I could, based on the experiences that people describe to me, I'm like, you know, I could feel for you, but I can't be sympathetic because I haven't actually gone through it, so I don't know what it's actually like. So people, if you don't know, you should probably learn, like, look up the two definitions of that. Showing sympathy really is only if you have experienced it yourself, because you're upset for someone else because you've experienced something yourself. Empathy is, you might not necessarily have ever gone through that scenario, but you feel for someone.
But I guess some white people use the argument that they grew up in the hood and they grew up in those experiences, so that's why they can relate to the music. So I mean, I could get that, but you'll still never relate to the black experience.
No, but the people that are doing these videos certainly have not.
The people doing these videos were raised in the suburbs with two parents.
Yeah, like if we want to talk about Eminem,
with money.
Eminem would be one of those cases.
Yeah, and that's why people in the black community accept.
That's why we rock with him. Yeah, because he shared a similar experience, and he's never tried to claim black culture either. And he literally said that he's a guest. So.
He that's the thing. That's
so
why
he
people
acknowledges
respect
it
him.
too.
But the thing is, people can say that about us though, like, oh, you have to raise in the suburbs, but we still could relate to blackness, like, and like you said, your dad grew up in that, right? My mom literally grew up
welfare,
in the heart.
Poverty.
My mom literally grew up in the era of where this hip hop stuff started from. Like, she was born in 1971, like, lived on Lefferts Place in Brooklyn, like. If anybody wants to look it up, St. James Place is here, and this is Lefferts Place. So Biggie Smalls grew up literally right there. Like, Biggie Smalls bagged my mom's groceries. Like, she knew him. She knew their family. So my mom was there when it happened. So, like, you know, she told me these stories about Brooklyn in the 80s and 90s and, like, the hip-hop boom. So we could speak on these things. Like, yeah, we didn't live it ourselves, but we have those stories, right, from our own parents, you know? So you don't have to grow up in the hood to relate to the hip-hop music. Like, you know, and we've seen like that the transition too of like you don't have to be from the hood, right? Kanye kind of changed that whole thing. Like, he was kind of from a little hoodish area, right? But he was like the nerd that made it. So like he kind of did change the game of hip hop, where it doesn't have to be all these gangster rap hip hop people. But Kanye's still rapping about black experiences, right? Like, he's talking about broke nigga racism, rich nigga racism. Like, every black person experiences those things a lot of stuff that Kanye talks about, and that's the point that we're making. Like, if you're a guest to black culture, if you're a guest to the black skin tone, then I feel like you shouldn't be talking about a lot of these things if you can't relate to them in some way, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of got off the rails because we were talking about Joe being a hater.
We're about to hit our time limit.
I know.
But, yeah, so basically, yep.
I mean,
I would just like to see a place where
there just has to be a common ground.
Because we always talk about black community, but if Kai is not specifically doing anything to harm people, you can make your comments about, okay, maybe he didn't expect people to be drop kicking random people's cars in the streets of New York. Okay, I got you. All right, you can make that criticism. If you want to say he was cosplaying JL2, sure, throw it in there. Aside from that, what he does on a daily basis is he literally sits in a broken up desk chair, office chair, in his room, and he just has made millions of dollars not harming anybody. And
you know what, I will say I didn't like, was that him or Speed? I feel like it was him. I didn't like the whole having that girl come on the show saying the N-word. Was that him? When he told that girl to say the N-word? Or was that Speed?
Oh, when he was doing the Harry Potter thing?
Yeah, that was Kai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That's not, that's one thing I didn't like that.
I think he didn't, I think he wasn't.
Oh, he was expecting her to say it.
Yeah, you didn't see his reaction right after. He was like, "Oh."
But then don't say that. Don't tell her to say it in the first place.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still not like harmful, I would say. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, Joe should just not say nothing unless, like you said, unless he's doing something very harmful that he feels needs to be called out and corrected.
Why not just support?
The new thing, because that's the thing. Every generation complains every single time, but this is just a new era. Like, as an older person, we could just appreciate it, right? Like, we're 27, so I would still say we're still considered the youth, right? Like, But eventually, we're starting to age out of this, right? And we're starting to see the younger 20s and the teens coming up and what they're doing. And yeah, sometimes it's off-putting seeing 10-year-olds in Sephora knocking girls out for skincare, but who cares? It's not harming me. No, like I heard that their 10-year-olds are like
Are knocking people
like,
out.
they're not knocking people out, but they're being like very disrespectful and rude,
Oh,
like to
bro,
older
hold up,
people and
time out.
workers
Bro,
for
I
drunk
swear to
elephant
God,
skincare.
if you pull up a TikTok
You know how envision a 10-year-old girl
of
and
a
how they
10-year-old knocking somebody out, I would have lost my mind in here.
envision like 10-year-old girls catty. Excuse me, where is this product? And like snatching it to make sure that, you know, this one girl said literally she was in the store about to get an item. Like it was like this skincare drops for drunk elephant, and a 10-year-old came up and snatched it, and she was like, she said like too slow or something. I would have been like, who the I'm like too slow. Like she was, and then she was like yelling at like this employee, like cutting people in line, like excuse me. So even though that's just 10-year-olds, but
Crazy.
as long and like unless they do something like directly to me, like oh who cares that the kids are like yeah like we had Justice and Claire's and we was wearing baby lips, but that was just what the time was like. I'm sure there's still a lot of kids doing that too. Like, but don't act like you wasn't at 10-year-olds you trying to use your mom's makeup. Like, this is nothing new. It's the same stuff we see every generation, and people act like it's so much different. Like, the only thing I think is different is social media, and the impact is definitely going to have an impact. And I think a lot of people don't have a mind of their own anymore, and that is definitely affecting people in that way, and like the youth in that way. But other than that, like. I'm
Let the
always
youth be
open.
the
Yeah,
youth.
let the youth be the youth. Like, there's no stopping what they're gonna do. So you talking about it and you insulting it, it's just making you look old and bitter. Like, you could have your little table time talks at home amongst your family, and
Table time
and
talks.
feel how you feel about what they're doing. But
Pull
coming on the
out the red
internet,
table.
yeah, coming on the internet, coming on TikTok, going on podcasts like Joe and stuff, and just berating them. It's just very like you just look old and bitter. Like, worry about your life and what you're doing. Like, what they shouldn't affect you. They don't bother me. Like, I love what we're doing. Like, I love where we're at in life, and they don't bother me. Like, even the girls that were bumping into me at the Travis show, right? Like, I was like, okay, they doing the most, but I let them be them. Like, I was even them bumping me, I didn't care. Like, you're just having a good time. I used to be that same crazy person when I was 21 too. Like, so it's just like Joe just needs to, you know, he is looking very bitter sometimes, and I like him, you know, but sometimes he does be looking bitter, and people try to make that same argument when he talks about Drake too. So
Yeah.
he definitely, you know, I guess it is what it is though. People getting older and realizing their own demise is that they're you know they're faced with
Demise
that.
is a wild word.
No, but they are faced with that. Like, you look in the mirror and you're like, this is not the person I'm used to seeing, and like you realize you're aging, and there's no stopping time, and that you're just slowly not cool no more. But that's okay. That's a part of life. It's a circle of life.
Yep.
Enjoy it in the moment, you know. But I'm always be cool no matter what age I am. All right, well, shifting gears. This was kind of a slow news week. So we just kind of added random things that I saw on Twitter and TikTok. Don't look at me drink like this. You didn't like the slurp noise?
Nah, slurp is insane.
You wasn't. Never mind. I thought you liked slurp noise. Anyway, what you squinting?
No, just the light. The light was in my eye.
Oh. Anyways, so I just added random topics. It was a slow news week, so just kind of seeing what was going on the Twitters and the TikToks, and I saw on a TikTok actually that I thought was very weird. So this girl was like having like a fake meltdown because she was like, "Oh my god, like this is crazy," because she was putting her emergency contacts down, and it was her husband, I think, or boy, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was her husband. I don't think it was boyfriend or girlfriend, but her husband. Because she was like, it's crazy. Like, you know, you're transitioning into this new phase of your life now. Like, your mom's no longer your primary emergency contact. Like, now it's your spouse. And she was just all kind of like excited about it, but like making kind of like a lighthearted like joke, like pretending she was crying. Like, wow, this is so crazy. Like, I'm in a new stage of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the comments, like a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, like that's crazy. I'm never doing that. It's always gonna be my mom. Like, y'all be safe though. Like, this, like, never me. Like, nope, not doing that. Like, you guys are crazy. Why would you pick your man? Like why would you not want to pick your mom? Like, could you know your mom will drop anything to come save you? I'm like,
yo, y'all man don't care about y'all.
Yeah, like, so you're not marrying somebody that would drop anything to come to your rescue? Like, that's
Gotcha.
a you decision.
Okay, so you will be safe.
Yeah, you be safe. So I just thought it was very weird. Like, and you just see the likes. All these comments were getting so many likes, and everybody's like, exactly, like, and that's on period. Like, the weird sheep being, yeah. I'm like, oh, the birds, the birds.
Send the asteroid,
Tweet,
please,
tweet.
please, please send the
And
asteroid
that's on
and get rid of all
period.
this.
Like, I'm like,
Please, I can't do it no
so
more.
corny.
I can't do it.
So I just thought it was very weird. Like I know it's a trend to hate men, right? Like I get it. But like, let's stop moving the goalpost. Let's get back to what is the root. I feel like I've said this so many times. 'Cause I've had this conversation like on my own channel, right? Years ago when I made a video about people thinking that like some people who generally aren't neglecting their friends in relationships, but friends who are single get offended because they feel like you're allocating less time to them now to focus on your potential spouse. And they get kind of offended now because they're not the only important person in your life. I get people do neglect their friends, right? But I was talking about specifically situations where people aren't neglecting their friends. They're just, you got to allocate time to my man now too, right? Like he got to get time too. But this is like somebody who's going to be my spouse, like potential spouse. So obviously I'm investing and, investing my time and energy into something that I'm trying to harvest into a loving relationship. Because when people realize, right, like your first stage of your life where you grew up with your parents and your siblings and you live in a house, that's just a temporary stage of your life. That's actually the least, depending on how long you live, that's actually a short span of your life. Most people only do that for between 18 and like maybe 25 years, right? I feel like the average person kind of moves out around 18 and 25.
No.
You spend 25 and up if you're married already. 25, like you see your grandma's living to like 100. That's 75 years, right? Like, and that's some people who like, unfortunately your grandpa is not here with her anymore. But there's some people who are fortunate enough where their spouses live with them as long. That's 75 years of your life now that you're living with this man and the family that you created now. So you spend more time in your life with your spouse, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So the fact that people can't conceptualize that, like, it's time to let go. Let go of mommy's hand and go. Like, you don't have to start a family. But if you want to, if that's your intention to start a family, like the same family that you grew up with, now that you have a mom that you could look up to and write as emergency contact, you realize your mom created that family with her spouse and her, and the kids that she made. You came from that. So that's just life. Like that family only came up because of this, like the decision to marry and have kids, which should be your goal. Not everybody wants that goal, right? But that should be the next stage in your life potentially. So, when I was making that statement about people feeling like you're neglecting your friends and stuff, it's like friends got to understand like you're trying to create your family, like the family that you came from, and you're trying to create that for yourself and have kids. So I feel like the same thing with this conversation. Like you meet a person and you marry them and you have your kids and you have your new family unit, like that's your family now. So why would your main family that you live with, your main household, not be the people that you want to help you in an emergency? Like it's time, let go of mom and daddy's hand. Like they live in their best lives now that their kids are at the house and they're retired and they're just chilling. Like, yeah, they should still be there for you in emergency. So there's a thing called secondary contacts, right? Like you could pick your primary emergency contact, but lots of times they have a secondary option in case your primary can't be reached.
Yeah.
But your primary should always be your spouse, your next of kin. Like if you die, your spouse is usually your next of kin. Your kids, your next of kin. Those are the people that will get your benefits, your stuff in your will. So that would be who you contact. If something were to happen to you in the hospital and you're on life support, you would contact your spouse usually. So why is it so hard for people to grasp? Like you shouldn't be like, y'all be safe. I would never pit my man. That's weird. Then you need a new man. Like you're weird.
Why are you even getting married then if you can't?
Like I know, like I said, I know it's a trend to hate men, but people are they gotta let go. Like mom and daddy can't hold your hands forever. Like, and another thing, that's selfish. Your parents are aging. You want to give your freaking mother a heart attack being the primary contact in emergency? Like let her age. Like she needs your help. You're gonna be her emergency contact.
You should.
Yeah, she needs your help. Like get your able-bodied man to be your primary emergency contact. And if worst comes to worst and your man can't be reached, then yes, maybe pick a mother or a father or a sibling
or someone else.
Yeah,
it don't even have to be your mom.
But why you want to pick your aging mother as your primary emergency contact? Like you're selfish and weird. Like let her age in peace and retire in peace.
Realistically, it should be whoever is best suited to an emergency.
Yeah,
and honestly,
because you know me, I'm bad at my phone, so I hope my friends don't ever put me as emergency contact. Cause I might not be as reliable.
Aside from that reason, I also probably wouldn't put you as an emergency contact just because I feel like I spend so much time with you that if there was an emergency that happened, I'd probably be there, and there could be no reason to contact.
I mean, I should definitely be on your list as an emergency
Yeah,
contact.
I actually have to think.
Well, when we get
Oh
married,
yeah,
as
for
a
sure,
wife.
for sure. But yeah, for me, it's more so just who is best suited. And yeah, when you
Yeah.
have an aging parent, they're not gonna be best suited to help in
Yeah,
an
like why
emergency.
would you pit like your mother after a certain age? Like that's very selfish, in my opinion. That's actually kind of selfish. Like like people's our parents are aging, so why would you not put your husband or even a sibling?
To not even consider your husband.
Yeah, it's
e-
like who are these, like what do people
these
view marriage
randoms.
as? Like
Yeah, this
what
is
are they?
actually interesting. Because I do want to talk about like we always take these topics into
Yeah,
a whole other realm, but I didn't really realize because part of it is like you can't really tell who's telling the truth or not because people just be on the internet all day
just talking.
just talking because they want to hear themselves talk.
And a lot of these people are single, by the way, too.
Oh yeah, that's always the funny part.
I would never.
Single people talking about
But you
relationships.
can't. That's why.
Yeah, that's first and foremost. Put yourself in a position where you can make that decision. But
Yeah.
aside from that, assuming that they're actually telling the truth, it's kind of interesting that there really is that much disdain for men.
It's like I said, I feel like it's a trend. It's weird. And then these same mothers have daughters. Like, are you paying a hate on your freaking son? Like, it's just scary. Like, I don't get why it's so fun and cool to hate men. Like, what's the disdain? And then why are you getting married then?
Yeah, just don't get married.
Yeah.
Or go date women or something.
Yeah. Live with your mom, and your mom can be your emergency contact forever. And have fun.
I was about to say something so wild. My goal is to get us deleted on the internet. I was about to. No, I can't. I literally can't. It's gonna be the same. I can't even do. I can't even do any context clues. Inside jokes. Sorry, y'all. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm telling you, when I was looking at this TikTok, like I was so thrown off. Like I did not think the comments were gonna be what they were. I'm like,
Now I get it, right? Of course, it's your mom.
Yeah.
Probably the first love that you'll ever have in your life.
yeah, like she
but-
birthed you. Like obviously if you're gonna depend on somebody to come save you or help you out, it's gonna be your mom.
Yeah, but that's when you're 8.
Yeah, that's when you're in high school, when you're in college, when you're unmarried young adult trying to figure out life, and your mom is in your 50s, her 40s or her 50s, still able-bodied.
Yeah, realistically,
But your mom should not be on your emergency contact forever. Like, so what's gonna happen when your mom passes away? She's still gonna be your emergency contact. They gonna make a call to heaven or hell if that's where she's at. Hey, okay, let me stop. But no, for real, like this is a real question because people be like, my mom's gonna be one forever, but is she gonna live forever? I don't think so. So it's like I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
But
just
but
saying.
it's true. And
So what's the plan after that?
yeah, I just can't imagine a place where people are.
They just hate men so much.
Like when somebody makes a decision and there's so many steps where they could have changed their mind. Like when there's so many different steps where you could have said, I probably should not do this, or I
Yeah.
can just as easily just don't do it. That I feel like is what this is telling me about people getting married. Like people are going through all these steps. They're trying to date and find a person, go through all these talking stages, eventually get the person to unfortunately propose to them, not knowing what they're in for, unfortunately. Then you're picking out the invitations and how those are gonna look, the venue, the food, who you're gonna invite, the music, all these different things. You're picking the date, the wedding dress, the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, all these different things that you're doing. And all throughout that time during that relationship, you really hate this person. The fact that you want to get married to somebody that you can't even rely on is the most insane shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's
What
crazy.
what do you do?
Point?
What was this the point?
We talked about this on the podcast before too, and it's funny because me and Alex, for people listening, I have a best friend, Alex, too. Funny enough, so I have 2 Alexes in my life. We were just talking earlier. We were saying, because we were talking about Bobby Altoff's divorce, and we were just like saying like, why everybody getting divorced so much, and like we both said like we just feel like people just are not actually in love with the people that they're with. Like I feel like she is married, right? But she is married to a guy that she's been with since 8th grade. Like me and you, we've been together since 17, 18, since we were in college. And when you're younger, right, you're just loving to love. You have nothing to gain from it. You're not trying to check a mark off your list like that. Get married by 20 something and have my kids. Like you're not trying to fight a biological clock. It's just genuine love, And I feel like we don't, when you get older, I feel like a lot of that is less likely. People are just getting married because they feel like they need to get married. They want the kid because their biological clock is ticking, so they don't even really care who they marry or who they have the kid with. They just want the kid. They want the image of a wedding. They want the wedding dress. They want the proposal. They want to just feel it. They want to just have that moment, and they don't really love the person that they're with. Like they view their partners as just like a prop in their life. Not realizing this is an actual person that should care for you, that you should be able to put as emergency contact. Like why are you classifying your husband in a whole different rank as your mom? Like they should be as equal as importance, in my opinion. Like, yeah, your mom birthed you, right, and gave you life. She will always be like at that in that level of importance, right? But the person that you're deciding to marry and then procreate with should also be very important to you. Like you're literally laying down with this person. Like you're the most vulnerable with a husband than you will with a mom. This person's literally, yeah. This person's literally like, you're literally sharing, like when the act of sex, right? You're literally sharing like energy and bodies, like that's such a sacred thing, right? That's such a sacred act, in my opinion. So like it's just crazy that like people can't even rely. Like you could lay in bed with a man and have kids, like
but can't rely.
Literally risk your life bearing it. Like I don't think people realize pregnancy is so dangerous. Like you're literally risking your life to give this man a child, and you can't even put him down as emergency contact. Like I genuinely feel like people view men, and maybe some men view women this way too, as just props. Like, and I feel like it's mostly women though, because women have this
100%.
fantasy lifestyle that they have in their brain. Like I gotta get married and I'm a wife. Like they just care about the image more, I feel like, than the actual person. It's like insane. Like I feel bad like for people really to not experience real love.
I don't
that
feel
you
bad.
can't put a man at the freaking emergency contact. Like
y'all be safe.
Like you would definitely be there for me if anything were to go down. We're not even married yet. Like I would put you as like look in my contacts. You're already an emergency contact. Like
type shit.
Like you see the star, like, and my mom is there too, right? My mom is there too. So it's like it's not like it's just you, but it's like the fact that people came and feel like they could pit their person that they're laying in bed with, like the person that you're giving your freaking most vulnerable side of you, like your most. It's just crazy.
There's
like,
so many things that women do that specifically tell me.
I'm a woman and I hate women. I'm sorry. I do.
There's so many things that women do specifically that tell me that they're with their partner for the purpose of them being a prop.
Yeah.
And I was going to say one right now, but like.
Somebody in particular?
I don't. Yeah. I feel like if I say certain things.
Somebody that we know.
Well, it's probably all encompassing, honestly. Like anybody that's with
I kind of have somebody in mind.
Certain partners, I feel like there's very specific stuff that they will say or do, and I'm like, okay, that's how you view them. Like you just
you can tell because people just want, like, a lot of women just want to go on the internet to say they're a wife,
to keep it general,
they're a mom. My husband is this. My husband does this. Yeah. And we're doing this. Like everybody just wants that image, but do you actually love and care for that person for real? Like, do you?
To keep it in general, it's a lot of times it's the way way women will disrespect their husbands or partners. Certain stuff that they say or do. That
even the people that come to work talking about their, I would never, like, to some coworkers, I would never.
Because do women understand that if a guy did that in the inverse, like do people? I don't think women understand that what the impact has on the people that they're telling those things to. Yeah. So we talked about this with stop promoting the water park and Fire D. You going to work and complaining about your significant other is you promoting your genitals to everybody in the office, and we see people take advantage of that stuff all the time. So I'm never, first and foremost, I have way too much respect for you to ever go into any forum, any public place, any work environment, any friend environment, and disrespect you in any possible way. Like we don't even speak about our relationship to anybody. Like really, I really don't. Like there's no sharing. It's nobody else's business. Like I have too much respect for you, and I on my soul, on my life, I would never do that. Yeah. You're never gonna hear me talking disparaging,
that's why I feel
disrespecting you.
That,
absolutely
not.
Lot. You'll never hear me say anything like that. I have way too much respect for you.
And I guess some people are more like, I guess they'll say transparent, right? But still,
can I add one more thing to it? Mm-hmm. Not only that, I would never do that while me and you were together and we're with other people. And we've seen that happen too. Like I literally would never do that. Yeah. Not around. I realistically, I wouldn't even disrespect you to your face. Like that's where it really comes from. I'm not even gonna disrespect you to you. Yeah. I might disrespect you in my head when you piss me off.
But everybody.
But definitely,
Yeah,
Definitely
that's like
not
a
to
lot. It's like a
definitely not to
lot.
you, and damn sure not in front of other people.
Yeah.
And we've been in around college and even
Yeah.
after
Oh my
college,
God.
like people
Oof.
wilding out saying crazy.
College.
Oh my god, we don't even got to get into that.
I mean, I was guilty in college too of it, right? But like,
That don't even count.
it
Let's,
doesn't
let's,
count.
let's talk about when we're
We were
adults.
adults,
Like
yeah.
when you're not a child.
Yeah, we were very
Couldn't even drink
volatile
for
back then.
couldn't even drink for like
Very volatile.
90% of my time I was in school. I didn't turn 21
No,
until
for
I
real.
damn near graduated.
Isn't that crazy? We only had like 6 months of college, not even being 21.
Yeah. But
But
anyway, stop being weirdos. Put your significant other as an emergency contact. Obviously, put
yeah,
whatever works for you.
If
Of
there's a
course.
secondary option, push your mom.
But you saying that your husband or partner, and we're only saying husband really because these are these women arguments that they have
Yeah.
on a timeline. You don't hear men
men
debating
don't be
about
saying this stuff.
y'all be putting your mom as emergency contact.
And
Like,
imagine
no,
a
because
man,
we're
imagine a
grown-ass men. We
man
don't have
saying,
these debates.
yeah, imagine a man saying, "I would never put my wife as emergency contact." He would
He
get
would get
slaughtered.
Killed off the internet.
Like, yeah, oh, mommy,
expeditiously.
you a mommy's boy.
Oh,
Women
my
see
God.
this is a red flag. Don't date a man that's a mama's boy. But women could get on the internet and disrespect their partners that they're possibly with or future partners by saying that they'll never put them as an emergency contact and that they shouldn't rely on them. What?
I'm not gonna jump and say I'm not I'm glad I'm not in the dating pool right now.
I'm glad.
But
I'm glad. Just talking about that
people
too tonight.
should. Well, people don't deal with a lot of intelligent people, and I'm not
Most people
bragging
aren't
on myself.
intelligent.
I'm
That's
not
the
bragging
thing.
on myself. I'm not gonna jump out and say I'm intelligent, but I would like to think I am. But if you're dealing with anybody with a level of intelligence, if I'm reading that tweet, you would immediately get crossed off of the list. Like there's so much stuff that people tweet and post and videos that they record where like if I was keeping a ledger of all of the people that I would be interested in, there's something like that I would immediately cross you off the list.
Yeah.
If you're even participating in this conversation, I'm deleting you. You're just not gonna be you're just not it's not even gonna be a first
Yeah.
there's
I
no
think-
interest in that.
We talked about this too recently. I was talking about all the people that were believing like this Carly Russell story and the Jussie Smollett stories.
Yeah.
Like a lot of everyday people that we've interacted with, even that we went to school with, are not really intelligent people. And we see it from, like you said, the tweets, the TikToks, the reposts, a lot of things,
Yeah.
So, yeah, like a lot of these tweets and TikTok comments and posts, like I said, if you were in a dating pool, it would be like, no, I'm not.
Absolutely not.
Cause you could tell who's just sheep and who's just birds and who just have really stupid mindsets on things. And it's just like this threw me off guard. Like I was like, you guys are weird. Like, and you talking about we be safe? I will be safe. I could
'Cause she
depend
got
on my
me.
man. Yeah, like what? We got the never mind.
My best friend's Heckler and Koch.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we safe here. Like,
We ain't letting nothing happen to you.
yeah. So you be safe. Whoever, like this girl in the comments, y'all be safe. You be safe. When your 80-year-old mom with a cane is coming to your rescue as your emergency contact, and I got the man with the heat.
Whatever the emergency is, if it's a
You be safe
if
with
it's
your
a
old
health-
mom with the cane.
if it's a health emergency, if it's anything, like
Yeah. And we know each other. Like, you
and
know
I
what?
did that in college.
Yeah.
I had to come save you.
No, literally.
We ain't gotta talk about it, but but that's always been a thing. So the fact that people don't
Yeah.
have
That was a crazy situation. Don't be friends with boy crazy male attention
don't
seeking
even, we don't
woman
even gotta bring it up.
because they'll put you in dangerous situations. But he came
Even
to
in
the
addition
rescue.
to
He
that-
came to the rescue.
Is your emergency contact for your mom? Like she gonna come help you change the tires? She gonna do all these other things
Yeah,
for
right?
you too?
Like-
I mean,
Like my
If
mom,
she is-
if something would happen in the hospital, yeah, she'll be there. But if in a real world emergencies, like you really
I'll
would
get
help
here
be
faster
more
than anybody.
beneficial than my mom in many scenarios. Like, and
I'm-
obviously we would be close enough to you would know like any of my medical history or like you would make the decisions like that if if I was on life support, like we would talk about these type of things.
or the different thing.
And you
Yeah,
and my mom can make that decision together. Like she could, it's a backup contact.
yeah,
But-
because we live together, we're more aware of stuff that
Yeah.
we're going through individually than our,
yeah,
our
then our
parents. would be.
parents, like you might have some allergy when you were 8, but you're living with me when I'm 28, and like you're
Wait.
seeing me on a day to day and how my health is.
Like you just took some medicine the other day. I'm sure you didn't tell your mom.
Yeah, my mom doesn't know I took Mucinex and acetaminophen. I don't know what the fuck that shit is called.
Yeah, so
Like-
that would be an example.
Your person that you live with knows you more than your mom. Like people don't understand that. They'll eventually will know more. They see more sides of you than your mom will ever see. Like your mom is your mom. Like of course she's always gonna be on a pedestal. Like that's the person who gave you life. But come on. To compare that to somebody who lives with you and sees you on a daily basis and sees you as a full grown adult and knows really you in and out. more than your mom would probably ever know. Like, you don't. These same people probably never even told their mom when they lost their virginity. Like, come on.
Let's move on.
It's just this comment section threw me off so bad. But
Yeah, it's a wild comment section.
I was literally like, what is going on here?
Stop being weird and marry people that you actually love.
Exactly. Like, don't just marry them for a prop
Weirdos.
or to check get married off my list. Like, do it because you actually want to, and could you actually love the person and care for them as a human being? Like, I can't. I hate women. Pick me. She's a pick me. Oh, yeah, I am. I got picked 10 years ago. So
That laugh was gross.
I'm a little turned because this beatbox.
Are you really high? Let's wrap it
I
up.
drank this whole thing.
Let's wrap up the pod.
So our last topic for today is something that I saw on Twitter, and it just felt like it was an interesting topic because it's Black History Month, and
Here we go.
everybody at this point in the podcast, if anybody who's actually like a viewer who actually watches our stuff consistently, you know, like I'm pro Black American every day. Like, why would I not be? We're like the coolest. We went through some crazy stuff in this country and came out strong. Like somebody tried to say on Twitter the other day, which is crazy. They tried to say that our ancestors were weak because like the real strong ones either didn't get captured into slavery or jumped off the boat and didn't submit. So I'm like, now you're trying to disrespect my ancestors who literally fought to be here. Like, to be alive as a Black American is like a blessing because that means our ancestors fought through everything that they went through. To try to disrespect them and to say that our ancestors were weak because they didn't jump off the boat and kill themselves instead of being enslaved or evaded being captured is so fucking crazy and disrespectful.
Isn't that their ancestors too?
The person saying, yeah, it is. But the person saying, I guess, I think he's African. Like, he lives in Africa. But it's still, that's still his, yeah. Just
because if there's a bloodline,
delusional, crazy people disrespecting us while also using AAVE while disrespecting us because they're so obsessed and encapsulated in our culture that they don't even realize that they're disrespecting us while using our lingo. Just a bunch of weirdos on the internet that I got to keep fighting with every day. But I say all this to say there's a topic recently where I guess a girl, and like, I mean, this kind of is like an interesting subject, right? Because in this situation of the tweet, this happened in a shared space, but basically a girl tweeted her like reaction, like how she was shocked. She walked into the kitchen and saw her roommate washing her hair in the sink. And I get it, it's a shared space. So this is kind of an interesting argument because even though there's cultural differences, I do feel like maybe if you're in a shared space, I wouldn't maybe necessarily wash my hair in the sink living with other people who might not approve of me doing that if I'm in a roommate, living in a roommate situation. But I guess this girl, and she was Black, the girl who tweeted this, it was a culture shock to her because I think she's African or Caribbean, and she said that that's not a thing for them. So I just feel like this was an interesting topic because now I'm seeing tweets like I read you the tweet earlier, where I could read it right now too for Twitter. I mean not Twitter for the podcast, where this girl said, "I think African Americans just need to understand. For most of us Africans, washing hair in the kitchen sink is a concept that's quite baffling for us to comprehend. Washing hair where food is handled, no matter how clean you wash the sink, is a lot to process." So basically, she was just making it clear that Africans don't do this. And everybody else in the comments was still trying to like talk like, oh, they're such disgusting humans. Like, why would you wash? Like, look, they put raw chicken directly on that same sink to season it. Goodness. Like, very baffling. And no matter how clean they say they wash their sinks, that's one thing I can't wrap my brain around. So, they were just talking smack, right, about, us and our cultural differences. And for me, it's like, first of all, who cares? Like, it's not that deep. Like, why is this even a conversation? Like, that's my one thing, right? But it's like, how come we can't accept and respect different cultural differences? Like, okay, yeah, we wash our hair in the sink. This might be a passed down trait, right? Because, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it a lot, right? Because you have just one sister. And I don't know if your mom really like, participated in that, but like growing up, me and my sisters, my mom washed our hair in the sink, like in the kitchen sink. That was a thing. Like, use the hose. We used to laugh because it tickled our scalp. Like, that was a thing in our house. Like, and I'm sure my mom had the same experience growing up. So it's obviously a passed down trait in the Black American community, and I just feel like Africans always like why are we always the topic of discussion? Like, why are we berating a cultural difference? Like, we didn't say nothing. I mean, maybe some of us said something when they were talking about how in the Caribbean and Africa they wash their underwear in the shower Like I was like, no, I use a washer machine, but a washing, is it washing machine or a washer machine? Washing. I use a washing machine to wash my undies, but I know some women were saying that in their cultures they scrub their panties in the shower with water. I guess I don't know, water in the shower with it. I don't know how they do it. I thought that was kind of odd, but that's a culture difference. Like that's what you do. I don't do that, but I respect.
I've heard
and
they
accept.
they soak them in the sink too.
You heard that too?
Yeah.
Ew. Okay, sorry.
You never heard that?
No,
Oh, I heard they soak
That's
their underwear in
wild.
the sink.
that's wild.
So I don't know how this is any different.
Yeah, like, and my whole thing is, first of all, not we have a lot of us have deep sinks. Let's start there. Like, we're not impoverished. I have a very deep sink. Second of all, I don't know about a lot of people, but me personally, like my hair, when I'm washing my hair in the sink, it's not my hair is not touching the surface of the sink at any point. So it's just the water and it's just the space for me to wash it, but my hair is not
The
touching.
hair will fall out though.
My hair will fall out. Yeah, and it will fall and go down the drain. But I clean that hair before I put anything else in that sink. Like, so I'm cleaning it very thoroughly with Clorox, with soap, with what's that stuff called? That powdered stuff. It's like powdered. What is it called?
Ajax.
Like Ajax. Yeah, I'm cleaning it good, and I'm getting every single hair strand out the sink. But then when I'm first of all, I don't season this person might season chicken in the sink. I don't season my chicken in the sink.
Yeah, I think that's.
I season my chicken. I mean, some people do that.
Do people do that? Because I feel
Yeah.
like that sounds like it would be a different type of ethnic
I know
group would do that.
I know some Black Americans I think do that too. Like, but me personally, I season my chicken in a bowl.
Why would people do that in the sink?
Because I guess it's a stainless steel open space. They just throw the chicken directly on the surface and just season and clean it. Me personally, I use a bowl.
Why not on a cutting board?
I use a cutting board. I use a bowl. That's the thing. People are like, oh, your raw chicken be in that sink. My raw chicken don't be on the sink surface. It be in a bowl. I clean it, but it's in a bowl. Like at no point do I put food that I'm eating on the surface of the sink. The only thing that touches the surface of the sink is dirty dishes. And those same dirty dishes either are cleaned by hand or they're going in the dishwasher.
So do Africans, when they prepare their food, they use that strategy?
I guess because that's why they think it's so profound that we wash our hairs in the sink.
So
So I personally season my chicken. I wash it in a bowl, and then I season it in the bowl. I don't put nothing in the surface of the sink.
I would just
So
very much so hope that if people are seasoning for me, yo, bro, you shouldn't be preparing anything in a sink.
in the sink at all.
Like realistically, anywhere. Like if you wouldn't put, and this might sound crazy, but it's kind of the same. If you wouldn't prepare your food in a bathtub, then you shouldn't prepare your food in a sink. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, yeah, in a shower, you're going to have more like dirt from your body in the shower.
Yeah.
But I wash my hands in the sink. When we're cleaning dishes.
That was the argument though. Someone said, "Oh, you should wash your hands in the bathroom sink and not the kitchen sink. You're washing your hands over your dishes," which I get that.
Even still, bottom line, if you wouldn't prepare your food in a bathroom sink either, like it's a sink. That's the thing. Like the water, all that bacteria. If you're not going to do some extreme like preparing, and you're gonna use all types of like cleaning, like chemicals and stuff in your sink. If you're not doing that before every single time that you cook, which I highly doubt people do, then you shouldn't really do that at all. Like the amount of bacteria that's in our tap water, you shouldn't even drink tap water.
Yeah.
So you having hard water and all kinds of other stuff, whether you have a stainless steel sink or not, you really shouldn't be preparing food in a sink
At all.
at all.
If you're seasoning your food, it should be in a bowl on your countertop. Like I'm not seasoning my stuff in a sink.
Your raw dog and the food in the sink is crazy to me. That's such a wild concept.
Like nothing that if I'm washing my hair in the sink, it should have no impact onto my food preparation because our sink that we use, the purpose of our sink is for dirty dishes. Literally, that's it. Yeah, we use the water to clean the chicken, but the chicken's in a bowl. The actual surface of the sink, the only purpose of the surface of the sink is to put our dirty dishes in it. And even then, they're not in there long. So we put them in a dishwasher. Like the whole point of a sink is just a place to have water. The use of water to go down the drainage.
Yeah,
like, I'm not putting raw chicken on the surface of the sink. So even if a strand of hair is in the sink, it's not impacting my chicken that's in the bowl. Yeah. Like, so it's just like I don't understand why this is like a conversation. And I'm like diaspora wars during Black History Month isn't pissing me off because it's like piss some respect on the month.
Why do?
Because it's our history month. Like, let's make that clear. Black History Month is about Black American history.
I want to get like a good gauge on like what people's jobs are.
I don't think they have any.
Because one
Let's see
thing,
what she does. Fiona. Her name is Curly Cheeks. She says she's a witty, creative, adorable, and clean
okay,
up.
all right, that tells me all we need to know. Good to know. Good to
My only
know.
advice is don't forget to follow me. But you know what's funny? Like, and like I said this earlier, like people like always want to disrespect us. Like she was in the comments talking about how she was gonna use something that somebody said as a clapback to us. Now, sis, don't use the term clapback and be disrespecting us at the same time. Like clapback came from our culture. Like it's just funny. Like I said, they're so enveloped and so like they don't even realize how deep they are in to our culture. That you're disrespecting my people while using my vernacular. Like that's crazy. Like don't use clapback. Use whatever terminology comes from your whatever country in Africa that you're from. Use that. Don't use the word clapback when you're disrespecting the people that came up with that word. Like it just throws me off. Like why can't we just understand that everybody has different cultural differences? Like why is it that why are we berating and saying that it's baffling? It's so baffling to you. What's you know what? Let me stop. If I say you know what's
Yeah, tell
baffling to
me
me,
what's baffling to you.
you should see the quotes because my people is going in. This is bad. Oh, yeah, that's after they were trying to make a joke. Look, this is baffling to me.
Don't describe what we're looking at.
I'm not, but look, this is what some of the stuff that they doing and how they living. I saw something earlier. Oh yeah, this what I liked it. I liked it earlier. This is baffling to me. And I can say this a lot. I don't get how some people in Africa leave their food open on the ground around dust and potential bugs. That's a baffling concept. Eating food out of the footpaths and dust corners of the home. It is. It's baffling to me. This is very baffling. But if I say that, that's why like you look at my tweet. I said, now if I speak, never mind. I'll keep my mouth shut. Cause we like, come on. You're gonna talk about mice. We have perfectly good cleaning products. We have a stainless steel deep sink. And your concern is my hair being washed in that same place that I'm putting dirty dishes in. If that's your concern, I think you got bigger fish to fry based off some of the things I've seen. But if I say that now, it's you're whitewashed, you're brainwashed, and you're coming for your own diaspora and your roots. No, my roots is in Mississippi. That's not my roots. I'm kidding. It is in some way, but it's like that's my whole thing is like don't it's like throwing rocks in a glass house. Like you're talking about what's baffling to you when there's so much more things that are baffling. There's so much more things that are baffling. Like please, I know there's advanced societies over there, but not everything is. So let's stop acting like it's all advanced. And same for America. Not everything's advanced over here either. So I'm not talking. But the worst hood in America is not comparable to the worst hoods over there. The worst hoods in America would be luxury to the worst conditions over there. So let's please not talk about what's baffling. Because if I speak, it's
really had you peeved, huh?
It did because I've grew up on this. Like this is my culture. Like people around the world love to dabble in Black American culture. They love the music. They love the swag. They love the language. But when there's something they find that they don't like, now they're gonna talk about it. But it's like, but you are so far gone that you're using our terminology when insulting us. But like you're picking and choosing. Like how are you any different than a white person who's appropriating my culture? You're not any different. You're a hop too. Like you're gonna berate what you don't like, but you're gonna use what you love and profit off what you love. You see, you got Burna Boy, right, wearing 90s hip hop fashion, right? Wasn't he like emulating some of like what we
It was
wore?
in New
like,
York, right? Was he wearing Tim's or something?
So how you any different than a white man that's appropriating my shit? Like you're not any different. You're like you're op too. I don't care if we share the same skin color. You're op too. Because like why are you on this internet disrespecting my culture? The parts that you don't like, but you're enjoying and profiting off of the part that you do like. Like no, if you don't agree with it, fine. But don't get on the internet making this whole soliloquy about how it's baffling to you and how you're disgusted, how we're disgusting human beings. But we're not disgusting human beings when you just use the word clapback in your clapback. Like
talk to him, give it to him.
Fiona,
where my air horn
curly
at?
cheeks. Ooh, sorry.
Jesus. Anyway, anything else?
I should not drink that beatbox. That's acting wild. What is happening here? Oh, I just don't get it. Like, but
I'll save you.
at the end of the day,
It's okay.
if you don't like my people, stop acting like us. That's it. Don't wear my shit. Don't wear nothing. Don't wear our fits. Don't talk like us. Don't listen to any of the music. Cause we created so many genres. So don't listen to anything. Like you don't have to agree with everything, right? But try to understand it. Like, don't try to disrespect it and berate it. Like, everybody has different cultural difference. Like I said, for me, washing underwear in the shower threw me off. I'm not doing that personally, but am I gonna berate it? No. Like, that's what you do. You guys think that's fine? Fine. I'm not washing my crusty. Well, my underwear's not crusty, first of all. But I'm not washing my my discharged underwear in the same shower that I'm washing. I got a washing machine. Like, I pay for a washing machine. I'm throwing them in a washing machine. I know people say, oh, you should rinse it off so it won't crust and get all like crusty, but like I wash my laundry every day. So if I have to, I will, or I'll just buy new underwear.
Wait, what? Wait, talking about. Run that back.
No.
Run that back.
Okay, so
They're
they were
saying
saying they
don't
wash their
get-
underwear.
They do a pre-wash.
Well, yeah, they do like a pre-wash because like women, like we get discharged, right? Like obviously you know that.
Do you? Do you?
So lots of times, sometimes like if you let that underwear sit in your dirty clothes for like a week, right? Like
Yeah.
it might harden. Some of the discharge might harden.
Yeah.
On it. So they rinse it off like immediately and like wash it in the sink or wash it in the shower. And then I don't know if they then wash it again.
Gotcha.
But they kind of it makes sense. So, but it threw me off because I'm not doing that personally. Like I just I'll just throw it in the wash. Like,
Do they just have bad appliances? Because I would think that
that's what I'm saying. Like your washing machine should get that off. Even if it does harden, it should get it off. So that's why like I'm like, if I speak about the appliances, maybe they're not powerful enough, but we got the powerful enough washing machine that I never had that issue. But like I said, I didn't speak on it when that was happening on the Twitter and like they were having those conversations. I was like, okay, that's your culture, fine. I don't agree with it, but that's it. But then this girl wants to make a whole tweet about how she's baffled. Like, what's so baffling? Like, there's a lot of things that are baffling to me.
One thing that's baffling to me is that all of y'all need to get jobs.
Yeah, that's first.
No, I'm talking about you two. You need to get a job and get off Twitter.
I have a job.
And get off Twitter.
I have a job.
Because just as bad as they're talking about it, it's just as bad as you're on the receiving end of it. All of y'all get jobs, get some hobbies, get off the internet and listening to randoms of, yeah, even that comment.
I got 4 likes.
I don't care about how many likes you got. I don't care that she got 30,000 followers. Get some hobbies, get off the internet, and stop debating stupid shit. Who gives a fuck where the person washes their hair?
That's what everybody's saying. Like most people who are the most level-headed is a lot of these people in the quotes that are just saying like, yeah, like who really gives a F? Like who cares? Like the constant separation of A and Africans while only using hostile discourse is tired. And let me comment on the fifth and squalor 90% of Africans live in, and that's Black Americans will become overnight villains. That's why I said, let me speak about about their conditions. And now I'm the villain. So that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna say what I truly want to fully say because I think we all know. We all it don't need to be said.
We don't know. Tell us.
It don't need to be said.
No, just tell us because I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast, and we will see y'all
but look,
next.
I'm just saying that's what everybody's saying. Like, who cares? Like, why do y'all like at the end of the day? Like, why?
Which is why I understand.
All accept and respect our differences.
I understand why you participate in these conversations, but remember, like the saying goes, from a distance, when two people are arguing from a distance, you can't tell who's the fool.
Yeah.
Never argue with a fool because from a distance, you can't tell who is who.
Yeah.
So while I do understand you want to defend your culture and your society.
The only reason I get so passionate about it, though, is like I said, because people are so enveloped in our shit. Like, it's just one thing that people, they'll defend their culture, and their culture is, like, not relevant. You know what I mean? But our culture is so relevant. Like, it's so, people profit off of it every day. But then in the same breath, you're going to disrespect. It's almost like, don't disrespect your mother. Like, be your mom, be your dad. Like you look up to us. You try to be like us. Like you try to emulate us. You try to talk like us. But then, in the same breath, now you wanna. It's almost like you're hating. Like you're a hater, low key. Like you couldn't wait to use something to talk about us, but you're trying to still talk like us at the same time. So it's like, do you love us or do you hate us? You know what I mean? Like it's for me. That's why I get so offended because we're so loved and we're so popular. So it's just a different type of passion because it's like I don't like me. I'm a huge advocate of hater energy. Like I hate haters. I hate hating energy, and for me it just gives hating energy, and I just don't appreciate that. Like I don't like trying to be like somebody, trying to copy somebody and hating. So I just get really passionate with it, So
gotta get our outro
I love
music.
my Africans who love us, but the ones I don't, if I speak, you will be.
Yeah, talk to him.
Like I love black people. Like,
Talk to 'em.
I love my black people worldwide. I just want respect.
Yeah, Talk to him. Go ahead, get it off to this
All
beat.
respect. And when we
Yeah.
got reparations,
Yeah.
don't put your hands out, 'cause you're not getting none of that shit.
Yeah.
If your niggas wasn't slaves in this country, if your ancestors wasn't slaves, you ain't getting
Yeah.
none of that shit. So when I get my student loans paid off and I
Yeah.
get my check in the mail,
Talk to him.
don't try to act like you gang all of a sudden, because we share the
See
same
ya.
skin tone, because you're not gang.
Yeah.
I love you, but you're not gang.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm a little drunk right now, you guys could tell.
Thank you guys for watching.
So I may be talking a little crazy.
This has been the A Couple of Things podcast with Alex and Mal. We will see y'all next week. $. Yeah.
Someone said there are kitchen sinks in Africa that could set the FDA back 100 years. It's crazy.